Okay, well, welcome to my first Facebook Live. Unfortunately, I can't see on my tablet what's happening, so I'm just going to hope that this is all working well. My name is Michelle, and I'm an independent demonstrator with Stampin Up here in Australia. And what I'd like to share with you today is a card that I've made earlier this week. And I've had a few people interested in how I actually did this card. So just let me flip my camera over, and I will show you the card and some of the other cards I've made with this one, and we'll make another one. Okay, won't be one moment, just bear with me as I flip the camera tonight. Okay, well, let's just hope, let me stand up and just see, make sure you can see what I've got here. Sorry folks, first one never goes quite to plan, does it? Okay, well, this is my card. I hope you can see that. And I just want to show you the other cards I made along with this one. All these are found on my blog. And if you look, I'm sure you can see the images that I've actually put onto that cardstock. Well, now all of these cards I made using the new Pigment Sprinkles, and that's these here. It comes in this little box in these tiny little bottles. I'll just get one out and show it to you. So this one's Mango Melody, and thankfully they've put dots on it so we can tell which colour they are. Sorry about the shadows. When you take off the lid, it's a little bit like the brushos that we had, but this one has a little cap on it and the holes are already there for us. It's a very fine pigment powder that reacts when you add water to it, and you only need the tiniest amount. So I'm just going to pop that away. Well, what I did this time with my pigment powders, I actually got some of the spritzer bottles that Stampin' Up have, and I've added some rubbing alcohol in there, about half the bottle of rubbing alcohol, and then I just sprinkled some of the sprinkles into that. Now you do need to shake it up really well. It does take a little bit longer to mix, and if you're not careful they will get stuck in the little fine tube that's in there in the spray bottle. So I've got myself, because there's 6 colours, so I've got 6 of these bottles, one for each colour, and I've named them all because the Daffodil Delight and the Mango Melody are very close in colour, and they're all ready to go. So those spritzer bottles are only $5 for 2. And it just makes another way of using your sprinkles. So I'll just move all my cards out of the road, and I'll bring in my tray. Now I'm using a foil tray here with a bit of paper towel in the bottom of it, just so that I don't get spray anywhere. The cardstock I'm using today is the shimmery white cardstock, because that can take a certain amount of water. Even though we're not using water, we are using the rubbing alcohol with the ink. And the 2 colours I'm going to use are the Gorgeous Grape and the Bermuda Bay. So what we're going to do is going to give these a really good shake, just to make sure that that dye inside has actually, or the paint inside is actually blended. And I'm not going to spray directly down, I'm just going to spray to one side. Now I hope that you can, let me just move that out of the road so you can see that well enough. And I'm just going to spray slightly at an angle. I only need a couple of sprays of that. Maybe do another one just there. Don't overspray, otherwise what you end up with is large pools of colour that takes a little bit longer to dry, and it'll sit on the surface. Once I've done that side, I'm going to turn this around, and using the Bermuda Bay, I'm going to spray that again. Now I did add some extra rubbing alcohol into that, and it looks like it wasn't quite enough colour in there, and I have oversprayed that a little bit, but I think you can get the idea of what I've done. What you end up with is a piece that looks like this. And now, so this piece here of cardstock here, I've actually cut that at 1/4 of a sheet, and this one here I've trimmed that down to 9.7 by 13.7. Okay, so that's all been trimmed down and ready to go. So that was the first step in making this card. So I'm going to pop that now to one side and just put this in front of us. What I did to achieve a nice, don't know whether you can see it on here, but this white embossed area here, I just used the white craft ink, Stampin' Up white craft ink, and I used the new basic pattern decorative masks that are in our holiday catalogue, and that comes with one, this particular one, then you've got one here that looks like, let's move that out of the road so you can see, that looks like trees. This one here is a beautiful filigree one. And then we have our spots. So what I'm going to do is just pop those to one side. We're going to get our piece of nicely painted cardstock there, and I'm going to lay that there on top. Now you can, if you want to, use washi tape and adhere that down, but all I've done here is with my craft ink, so let's open that up and pop that here, and I've used these brushes here. These are a contour brush, a makeup brush, and I picked these ones up from Kmart, so they weren't too expensive. And I like just using these because it gave me a softer effect. I think if you use a sponge or a sponge dauber, it would be, could be a little bit hard. So I've lined all that up where I want it to be. And I'm just going to put a little bit of the craft ink on there and then just rub it. Now you don't need to cover the whole lot, and a little bit of this will go a long way. And I'm not particularly taking it to all the edges, and I'm not particularly going all over the whole card. But I'm just very lightly picking that up and moving that on. Once you feel that you have enough, you just lift that up and you've got a beautiful pattern left there. And it doesn't matter if some areas like here are a little bit lighter, some areas a little bit darker, because that's, I think, is the beauty of it. This was an idea that was just rolling around in my head for quite a while, and I just wanted to just try layering of different colours using the ink pads and using the oh golly, I can never remember, the pigment dyes. Sorry about that. Okay, so the next step in this card, once you've done that, just let it dry for a little bit. The thicker, the heavier you put it on, the more it's going to dry. Then the next layer I did on this one is actually used the stamps from the Bloom and Grow. And I'm just going to use this one here, and we're going to stamp it in a couple of different places, but not all over. So I'm just going to move my craft ink out of the road. Let's close it up so it doesn't dry out. Bringing in the Bermuda Bay, my craft ink. Oops, sorry, I've just tapped the stand. I'm just going to ink that all up. Turn this around. And we're just going to stamp this just a couple of places on the card. And you can just stagger them about a bit. Don't necessarily need them to all go in line. Just covering that little bit there. So turn it around, so it's giving us a little bit of interest. Just clean off the stamp pad with our wonderful chamois. And my very filthy chamois. Now, I hope you guys can see this all right, because I am doing this a little bit blind. And the fact that I can't see on screen exactly what you're seeing. So we'll just open up now the Gorgeous Grape, and we're going to repeat that again, but this time at the bottom. And just put a couple of those on there. Might just stamp that off a little bit. Stamp another one there. Stamp that off and stamp another one there. So I'll just move that out of the road. So now that's basically all I've done, and then from this point on it's just make the card and put it all together. So what I've started with my card is a piece of basic black cardstock, which I've cut at 14.5 centimeters by 21 and scored it at 10.5. So we're going to fold that in half. I have a piece of Bermuda Bay, and that measures 10 centimeters by 14 centimeters. And then we have our piece to go on top. So just using the multi-purpose glue, put some of this over the back of the card. Not going too close to the edges because we don't want it to come out the sides, but I love using the multi-purpose glue because it does give you that slip. And add it to our card there. Just move it around till you get it right into position where you want it. Might need to turn it upside down and just give it a really good press because the paper has warped and bent a little bit. That's looking good. Got a little bit of glue just there. We'll just wipe that off. Then here's our card. So we're just going to now put some more multi-purpose glue on the back of this one. It's a very, very simple technique to do, but a lot of fun. I've made up multiples now of just the cardstock that I've painted, which I can make up and cut up for lots of different projects. Now the only thing I haven't done is cut myself a piece of cardstock to go into the centre of my card in the middle. So just let me get out my trimmer. Now this is the new trimmer that Stampin' Up have just brought out. It's not available as yet to customers, but it cuts beautifully. So I'm going to cut this down to the same 10 centimeters wide. And that just cuts so nice. By 14. Pop that to one side. Then again, with the Gorgeous Grape, I'm just going to stamp that up. I might turn that around that way. And stamp that at the bottom. Always got to have a nice piece in the inside of your card, just like that. Thanks, Marlene. Hi, Therese. How are you? I'm glad you guys are on. Some nice friendly faces. This is a bit scary for me at the moment. Hopefully I'll get better as I go along. Okay, so we're just going to put some more multi-purpose glue on the back of this one. Pop that into the Okay, so there's our card. But now we have to make it, give it a bit of glue there. Put a little bit more decoration on. So what I've got here is his birthday. And I've just realised something, that I've just stuck my card upside down, and I was going to put that down there. So we're going to change it, and we're going to put birthday up here. Nothing like doing something different, is there? Thanks, Marlene. Okay, so we're just going to put a little bit of this glue. Now I'm just going to, you know, a great tip. If I get a piece of cardstock, I put a little bit of glue on the back of that. I'm just going to spread it out a little bit. And then I'm going to use that to just touch some of these areas here. Oops, that's right, just drop it. So I'm going to stick our birthday right across there. And if I grab my tweezers, that little dot is right. He's going to play for me. Our little dot that goes on, yeah, right into the glue. A little dot that goes on top of our eye decided to fall into my glue, but I'm just going to put a little bit of glue on there, doing it the same way as I did the others. And I'm going to pop that right there. Just tap it down. That glue will dry clear, so that spot will disappear. We'll get rid of that bit of rubbish. And the last thing I have, and I've pre-stamped this just to make it a little bit easier, but what I've done is using because the world said, and my birthday came from the world written framelits that goes with the world said stamps. So I'm just going to use happy, and by just cutting that out by hand, because it is a simple little one to cut by hand. You could use your trimmer, but I think it's just only one word. It's easy to cut. Got our birthday, and then using our little mini dimensionals. Whoops, won't pick it up. Pop a couple on the back. I like to use my tweezers with these little dimensionals, just makes it a little bit easier to pull them off and to get the backings off. And pop happy there. So that's our card. And that's my other one. So I hope you can see those. I hope you've enjoyed that. Just something else that you can do. I just used our little pizza boxes here. Did the same thing. When I sprayed a whole stack of them, and I mean I did spray, as you said, I've got lots here to make cards with. I'm just playing with colour. That one's not one, that's a ring in. Playing with the different colours and what they're like. But you can use more than 2 colours, use 3. But this was just one piece that didn't look so good, so I cut it down and made a little gift box. On the weekend I went to my school reunion, and I hadn't seen 2 of my best friends for a long time, and I made one of these each for them with just a happy friend on them. So I hope you've really enjoyed that. I'm just going to turn my screen around again, so just bear with me. And thank you for joining me today. I hope you've really enjoyed that card. I'd love to hear it if you give it a try and let me know how you go. And all these products are found on my shop, at michelledutrissa.stampingup.net. So thank you very much for joining me, and I'll catch you all next time, and we might try to make this a regular thing. Thank you very much. Have a nice evening. Bye.